Hello everyone, in this video I'll be talking about and showing the second starter deck for Underworlds TCG, which is a new card game I've been making, and this one is called the Grunt Hunt. It'll be on the GameCrafter soon, but it's already on Untap, so join the link in the description if you would like to play in our Discord server and on Untap. So, first card is Battalion Grunt. It is a 4/4/2, so not crazy stats for a 4 cost, but when played, deal 2 damage to target creature if your opponent has 2 or more creatures in play. So this is really good if your opponent has quite a few Shankfish or any card. But then again, these two starter decks are supposed to be paired up against each other, and they both win semi-evenly, Shank me being a little bit better. But the Grunt archetype mainly focuses on aggro and just dealing damage through card abilities. So Battalion Grunt is pretty good. Then we just have Buff Grunt. You can have 3 copies of the card in your deck. It's a 4/4/4, just a solid creature. You need some easy-to-use creatures in a starter deck anyways, and why not add that one? Then there's Death Stare, which is a temporary spell. Target creature gains +2 attack. You can combo this really well with a card that we will see later in the database. Then we have Grunt Egg. You may discard this card from your hand to gain 1 point. Nothing crazy, but if you draw this early on, you will need it in order to use some other card abilities, because some Grunt cards need Grunt cards in the discard pile in order to use their abilities. So early game, this is a pretty good card. Otherwise, it's just kind of a meat shield. Then we have Grunt Remains. This is very powerful. You basically play it for 2, and after the second round, after your second turn ends, you can search your deck for a Grunt card and add it to your hand. So yeah, it might take a while, but it is very worth it. Then we have Grunt Scout. When played, you may destroy this card to reduce the cost of your next Grunt creature by 2. So if you want to get out your more beefy Grunts, you can do that, or you can just play this card for its stats, which are pretty weak. But for 1 cost, it has pretty basic stats. So you can either play it as a creature or use its ability. Either or is pretty good. Then we have Grunt Stomp. Deal 2 damage to up to 3 target creatures in play. Basically a board wipe for decks that spam weak crossed creatures and early game Shankfish. So that's a pretty good card. Then we have Grunt Tooth Dagger. Like I said, some cards need grunts in your discard pile to work. So this says deal 3 damage to target creature if you have a grunt creature in your discard pile. For a 1 cost, 3 damage is very powerful. Next is Lanky Grunt. This card can attack twice per turn. And if you combo this, because it only has 1 attack, but if you combo it with Death Stare, it has 3 attack. So it can have 2 attacks of 3 in 1 turn for a 3 cost if you combo it with Death Stare, which is a really good combo. Then we have just Little Grunt. It's a 3/3/3, just a basic little creature. I'm really a big fan of his artwork. I just really like the grunts in general. The grunts and the Shank Tank are the 2 fan favorite archetypes from my previous card games, so they were the first to be the first starter decks. Then we have Lost Mortar. It counters any spell, so it's a must need in any deck. Then we have the Nothing Stone. Basically, a backstory to this card. Its flavor text says, the meaning of this stone has long been forgotten. So it's got a very complicated cryptic runes and stuff, but it has since been forgotten. Just a random just idea I had, but the ability is pretty good. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck and place 1 into your hand, then shuffle your deck. For 2 costs, that's pretty good draw support. Then we have Raid Captain Grunt, the main heavy hitter of this deck. When played, if you have 3 or more grunt creatures in your discard pile, he can attack twice per turn, which is very powerful with 5 attack. And then my personal favorite card of this deck, Scorch Grunt. It's a 3/2/2, not crazy stats, but when played, deal 1 damage to target creature for each grunt creature you have in your hand, which is very powerful. So this is definitely one of the best cards in that deck. And finally, we have the Hunger. When a grunt creature enters the discard pile, this can be played on your turn or on your opponent's turn because it's a response spell. You can draw 1 card and play a 1/1 token creature for free, which is very powerful, but it is pretty costly, so just keep that in mind. That was this starter deck. Let me know your guys' thoughts, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.